guys, thank you so much for joining me again on another episode of The Mind of Reese. I hope you're having an amazing, amazing day. It just happened to be 4th of July weekend. It was a lot of fun. I got to hang out with a couple of my artists and my videographer. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys will see them all over the place. It's like Jackie and Terrence and things like that. And it was such a fun time. And yeah, so it was a great weekend. I hope you guys all had an awesome 4th of July weekend as well. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Today I want to talk about organizing your life and organizing your mind, and how they coincide with each other is really, really important, because the way that we can organize our life is by organizing our mind. And I'm going to give you 4 steps on how to do this. And I always say this in a lot of my podcasts. If you guys are avid listeners, I know you guys hear me say this all the time, that it is simple, but it ain't easy. So when I tell you guys these things, I'm going to be giving you a bit of, motivational spanking here. And I'm going to be giving a little tough love just because I need it myself. And these podcasts actually not only in turn help me, but I'm so stoked that you guys gain value from it. And as I go through life and as I incur emotions and thoughts and I go through circumstances and situations that arise new thoughts and reactions and emotions, I am very aware of them and I want to be on top of that. And so when I am going through things, I notice it in myself. That's something that I need to work on maybe this week or something like that. So this is the reason why I'm bringing it up. So I think I've talked briefly about this probably a few months ago and a few episodes back about how to organize your mind and organizing like your closet kind of thing. It's like very, very similar. And I would challenge you to do both, but we'll get into that a little later. The first step to organizing your mind, in turn organizing your life, would be having awareness and being aware of our thoughts that are created inside of our head that create a feeling and an emotion, and then it causes us to react, and then it gives us some sort of result, whatever it is, negative, positive, neutral. These are all our own responsibility. Now, this is where you have to take 100% responsibility for everything that goes inside your mind. Not blame another person for a thought that you are having, because those thoughts are your own. You can have a conversation with anyone, coworker, loved one, boyfriend, girlfriend, whomever it is. And there are 4 things that come with communication when you have these communicative circumstances where one person says something and they mean something that are entirely different. And then on the other side of communication, the other person takes what they said and makes their own meaning on top of it. So there's like 4 different things that are going on in every single conversation that we're having, or, any circumstances that you're having. And whatever thoughts pop up into your head that you make mean something, that create a feeling inside of you. And if it is negative, then that's where you need to ask yourself, okay, is this serving me? There are 3 questions. Do I want this? Or is it outdated? Are these thoughts or these beliefs that I have inside of myself outdated? Because a lot of times, the reason why we react a certain way to certain things that come up in any situation is from a past belief or a past thought. So we are living today through past experience. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I definitely think that you should take your past and use it as reference, because any emotion that you get that triggers something in you that might be uncomfortable, such as depression, anger, all of these uncomfortable emotions that you get sometimes during conversation or during a circumstance that happens, whether the COVID thing really affected your job and things like that, we tend to blame outside of ourselves when really we can change the thought we have about the circumstance. Because you guys, you got to realize that, and I will repeat myself often enough, that circumstances are neutral. You don't have to make a circumstance and a thought, they're not the same thing. And that's what we get lost in, and including myself. I even find myself doing that. The other day, I walked into a room, and I think that it was one of my artists that was downstairs, and they looked up and then walked out the other door. And I made that mean something. I was like, oh, are they mad at me? And then it made me have thoughts, and I was like, what the heck? And then I wanted to call them and be like, hey, is everything okay? You know what I mean? And I created this whole story in my head, and I didn't even realize it was happening because I just assumed that the thought inside my head was the circumstance, when in fact it's not the circumstance. The circumstance was they walked out the door. They looked up at me and they walked out the door. I don't have to make that mean anything. We can react to so many different things, different ways of that. But it could have been, hey, I was feeling a little vulnerable earlier that morning, or hey, maybe I didn't have my Wheaties this morning and I'm just feeling a little cranky, you know? These are all those things that can cause me to have a thought, react on that thought, make that thought mean something, and then have a belief about a situation when all that had happened, when I really narrow it down, is they looked up and they walked out the door. And in all actuality, they were so tired from working all day, they didn't even really focus up. They didn't really see me. You know what I mean? Which is the funniest thing, is that it was like, oh, Reese, I wasn't trying to, you know, like peace out and not say bye. I was just so out of it. I just walked out like nothing. And it meant nothing on their end, but I made it mean something on my end. So you see where we're going with it. So when you are aware of your thoughts, you are able to, instead of creating that thought and thinking that it's a circumstance when it's not, you reel it back in, you stop yourself from reacting. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't call them. I didn't call the artist. Hey, what's going on with ya? You know, I was like, you know what? They just walked out. And the next time I saw them, I was like, hey, dude, the other day you walked out. I was like, oh, you okay? And then he was like, oh, I didn't even realize I just walked out. I didn't even see you. How crazy is that? And then the whole thought and belief is shattered. The whole story I've created is completely shattered because that wasn't the thought that I created. I believed was a circumstance in that moment. But since I was aware, I was able to stop myself from thinking that thought, from actually analyzing that thought and asking myself the 3 questions. Does this thought serve me? Do I want this thought? Because does it make me feel good? Am I going to go throughout my day thinking this thought, oh my gosh, what's wrong with him? Is he mad at me? You know, and take it personal? Or is it an outdated thought? You know, perhaps the reason why I reacted like that is because in my past, things like that have happened and I've created these stories behind them, or they actually did mean that someone was mad at me. And now I'm creating, oh, well, now every time someone does that, they're mad. Or maybe every time they're cranky. Or it has something to do with me because I take it personal. When in all actuality, yeah, that's my fight or flight method. That's my body just reacting to and letting me know, like, hey, this has happened before. This is the way we've reacted before. Do you want to react this way? Yes or no? And I could choose which way I want to go. So when you're aware, you can do that. And then when you are aware, I can make that decision. So number 2 would be making the decision. For me, personally, it's the feeling that I feel inside of my body that has it take hold of me. Like anxiety kind of feels like a squeezing for me. And I like to describe my feelings as a physical thing, because then I can almost allow myself to see it release. And I'm as a creative and as an artist, I'm very visual. So when I think of something constricting me, or like hands constricting my stomach or my lungs or making me feel tight, I just breathe and I imagine it being released, like the hands letting go. And so when I have a reaction, which is a feeling that comes up and it stems up, yeah, that reaction is very real and that feeling is very real. But I don't have to make it mean something, and I don't have to believe it later, because at the same time, does it serve me? Is it outdated? That kind of thing. And so that's why it's okay to have it come from your past and to reference you and to give you, hey, this is something that's happened. We're just letting you know, but you don't have to take it with you. You know what I mean? So you have to increase your awareness of your thoughts, and once you do, you can start making decisions. And once you've asked yourself all these questions, does it serve me? Do I even want this thought? Or is this thought outdated? We have to let it go. We got to say, sayonara, goodbye, get the fuck out of here. Don't want you in my mind no more. We got to let it go. And that is really scary for a lot of people. And even for me, you know, over the years, I've been practicing and studying this a lot. And I'm very well versed in it. And even today, even to this day, I slip up all the time. So guys, it's definitely not something that's, you know, easy, but it's worth it because I have lived so peacefully most of the time. And when I'm not at peace, I analyze and I write it down and I purge, or I do whatever I need to do, whatever your process is in order to thought download, let it all out and let it go. I think that this is a very personal journey that I have. So when I say to let it go, I don't mean go out there and go talk to your friends or go purge on someone else. Because at the end of the day, I feel that if you are purging and you're just venting, it is very harmful to someone else that doesn't know how to protect their energy, or if they're empathetic. I'm an empath. That's just who I am. I'm very empathetic. I'm always thinking about others. I'm always trying to go out of my way in order to that everybody else feels comfortable, at the expense of my own. I'm very much like that, and I'm a definite people pleaser. But that doesn't make it a bad thing. Being an empath is not a bad thing. And actually, I feel and I believe it's a superpower, because I feel so much. But since I'm in control of those feelings, and since I'm aware of those feelings, I can make the decisions on whether or not they serve me or not. And I could still have amazing amounts of feeling. So where this comes into play about cleaning out your mind and this, in turn, organizing your mind and organizing your thoughts. We haven't even gotten to the organizing yet. This is just getting awareness and making decision of the thoughts. That's organizing. And when we say goodbye to those thoughts, again, that's organizing. It's like cleaning out your closet, taking everything out of the closet. It's like purging all your thoughts on a piece of paper and taking each item or taking each thought and analyzing it. Do I need this? Does this serve me? Is it outdated? And when I'm looking at, let's say, this blanket that my grandmother gave me a long time ago, and whatever, I don't actually use it because it doesn't really feel good, but it is my grandma's. I don't need to keep it. I don't need to make that thing mean something. I love my grandma, but I don't need this thing no longer in my mind or in my life. I don't need this thought in my life anymore. And so I'm never going to forget about grandma. That doesn't mean anything by keeping the blanket doesn't mean that I love her any less or more. That's what I'm making it mean. And so that's the same thing with your thoughts. If I'm having, any sort of thought about someone or about something that's going on in my life that's just a circumstance and that it's neutral and I can't control that, I can only control the thought. And I'm like, well, listen, do I really want that thought inside my head that, hey, he's mad at me, that my artist is mad at me, that he has some sort of animosity towards me, that he's angry, that he, and then my head could go all down these other, no, I love him for him. He'll tell me what's the deal. I don't need that thought. It no longer serves me. It's an outdated thought because yes, one time in a blue moon, this happened to me and it actually was what it was, but I don't have to make it mean anything until the circumstance presents itself to mean that. Until he tells me it means that. Then we can go from there and deal with that thought after that. But here, it doesn't serve me. Goodbye. So we say goodbye. And it does scare people because a lot of times we hold on to our past that served us then. But if it is outdated and doesn't serve us now, then we have to let it go. I like to attribute having so many thoughts like hoarding. It's like you're just hoarding all these things and all these beliefs and you just don't want to let them go. And the reason why we have such a hard time letting go is because we feel that it is a part of us, that these beliefs are us. But that's not the case. And you don't have to make it the case. My boyfriend always says it really great. He's always like, we have past lives. We've lived past lives. And when I look at the 10-year-old me to the 15-year-old me, the 20-year-old, 25, 30-year-old me, all in between, every year I feel like I've evolved. And whether or not I felt like it was in a negative way or a positive way, that's my own opinion, of course. And so, but I've learned something throughout my entire life that has shaped me into the person I am now. And if I had not, in some of those situations, let go of prior or past beliefs, then I don't think I would be the person that I am today. Had I not gone through that, believed in something so hard because that's what helped me at the time. But if it no longer serves me, then I have to let it go. And it didn't. And there's a lot of things in my life that no longer serve me as a belief, as a thought, because it would only stunt my growth in not only my relationships with people, in my job, in even the way I talk to people, and the confidence that I have in myself and my ability to keep learning and to succeed. I would not be where I am today if I didn't let go of those past beliefs. So if you're having past beliefs like you can't do it, you've never done it before, or you've tried and it's not working again, you've got to let that go. If you are going to succeed in life, in your mind, in your business, you have to let those things go. Because if they're not serving you, then what's the point? What's the point of keeping something that's not working for you daily? The things that I have in my house, the things that I have, in my life particularly, I don't have a lot of things. Everything I have, I love. Everything I want, I have. And everything I have, I want, which is a really, really wonderful thing, because that's not how it's always been. Trust me. It was always like, let me keep all my books because what if one day I really want to read it? Let me keep all this stuff because what if one day I'm going to need it? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. That can go on and on and on, when really I'm going to be like, you know what? I read this book. It's not my favorite. I know I probably won't read it again. And if I decide I do 5 years down the line, I'm just going to buy it again. So let me give it to someone that's going to serve them better. Let me let go. Just like I let go of a thought, let me let that go so I can bring new thoughts in, so I can believe new things about me, myself, my business, my partner, my whatever. Let that serve me better in my now, in my success now, in my life now, in my peace, my inner peace. It is hard, like I said, but it is necessary for growth. And when it's uncomfortable, that means that it's working and that something is happening. It's like the boil. It's like right before the boil starts rolling in the pot. It's like it goes slow and then it just starts to bubble and you feel that vibration. And then you got cooked spaghetti and success. Just kidding. So you be aware of those thoughts. Then once you're aware, you can make decisions on those thoughts and whether or not you want to keep them. And if you don't want to keep them, let them go. Say goodbye. And the last thing is start creating the thoughts that you want. Why not? You have to clean your thoughts out all the time, and in order to think new thoughts. And why not, once you've already gotten rid of everything, put new thoughts in there that feel fucking good. Not this scarcity mindset of I want this and I want that, or I'm never going to get this, I'm never going to get that. I don't know why my following's not growing. I don't know why this, I don't know that. I hear these things all the time, and sometimes even for me it gets frustrating because the only thing I see and the only thing that's unfortunate is the only thing that I think on this is that how can I help someone see? And when I mean see, how do I get them aware of where their thoughts are going? Because that thought obviously is not serving them. Where is the possibility in the question, why am I not gaining new followers? Why this? Why that? Why nah? The quality of questions that you ask yourself will reflect on the quality of life that you live. So if you're asking yourself, woe is me type questions, I want this, I don't know why I can't get that, I'm never going to be successful, like these kinds of thoughts, and there's no question about it in a constructive way, no way there's going to be growth, because there is no possibility behind the intention of your question. It's woe is me, scarcity mindset, I don't have this, I don't have that. And that's the reason why we got to let that all out. We got to purge it out your brain, vomit it out, get rid of it, flush it down the toilet, and then create new things. Create more abundance mindset. Because like I said, what I have currently, everything in my life that I have, people, jobs, the things that's going on, everything that's going on in my life, I let it be there. I want it there. I have what I want, and I want what I have. And when you can really, truly believe that, you are only going to bring more abundance into your life. And that's that, and that's it. It's great. That's awesome. So that's why I say you're going to want to create what you want. We are no longer living past decisions. We've decided that right now. I'm deciding it for you right now. We're no longer living in our past decisions. We are allowing that to be a reference guide to help us along the way. But when we are trying to get to places that we've never been before, we don't have a past reference. We don't have a past experience to tell us how to get there. We have to create new thoughts, new success, new abundance, new gratitude, new positive thoughts that is going to get us to the place that we want to go. And to create the new thoughts, we got to let all that other shit go. Okay, guys? So I hope you loved this short and sweet episode. If you did, please, please, please leave comments, press the 5 stars, the thumbs up, follow me, subscribe to my YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. You can also find me on my other social media avenues for some funny stuff, TikTok and Instagram as well. I love you guys. I want to see you thrive. Let me know how you feel about these podcasts. I want to help you. Love you. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.